It only do what?
Unless it's attachment, it won't let you debug it and run it.
Yeah, that's what I had tried. I couldn't get it to do that when you download.
Like after I sent it to you, and I go to click on the file that I uploaded to you to check it,
It had
It
to
won't let
save
me
as
run
a
it off this
solution and
video.
not as a CPP file, because it put it under like miscellaneous files, and even if you moved it to the source files, you still couldn't use it as like a CPP file.
Now that's
That was
using,
the issue I had with Visual Studio.
that's what I did too. Yeah.
but you using Visual Studio or you using
Yeah,
online
that's what I'm
GDB?
Visual Studio.
Alright, in Visual Studio, once you save it, and somebody check to see if it's streaming. Once you save it, there's a folder that's created where that CPP file is.
Right. But when you go to click on it, it's like,
Right,
it
don't let
doesn't,
you-
it's not the same thing.
Exactly.
It shows like the downloaded file with all the blank stuff, and the
Uh-uh.
file that we typed into
Like it's
shows
right
as a
here.
solution like SLN.
All
So.
right, now I don't want the SLN.
Right, but that's the one.
I want the
that shows-
CPP.
I know, that's why we had to type it out all.
No,
I can show you right
I
here.
can show like.
I can show you too.
Okay.
Cause what happens is you have okay, thank you. You have a folder, all right, with the project name, correct?
Right,
Got an SLN in it.
right.
But then there's another folder with the project name.
Right,
That's got the CPP.
right, and there's two different ones, but the CPP file. when
It's
you
in that
click on
second.
It doesn't have what you typed into it.
All right. But let me see. Let's see what's going on. So this is what you type. This is visual,
Right.
right?
Right.
So now you saying it's like once you go back to try to upload it.
Well, I went after I uploaded it, and I clicked to check it. So after the submission details, I'm gonna click on it
In Canvas.
in Canvas,
Yeah,
right?
right.
To check and see if it's right.
No,
Right. I did, when I went to try to.
But you
submit
can't-
it didn't do that.
you submitted it to Canvas
Yes.
as a CPP.
Yes.
Then you tried to double click on it,
I clicked on it, check it. Yeah.
the CPP file.
Yeah.
You can't do that in Visual Studio. You have to go either the SLN or create another blank project and add this one into it. See, that's the difference between Visual and online GDB. Visual, you have to come in as a project and then have the file, or the SLN project name and whatever.
So if I make changes to this, it won't save it.
Yeah,
It will. Okay.
make the changes.
I already did.
All right. Now, the thing is this.
But the thing is, I can't test it to run it. You see?
Yes, you can. What
I
I'm-
can just copy and
You
paste it.
can't, you can't just, all you could do open existing.
Yeah.
Watch. All right, so this one you have, right? We know where it is, correct?
Right.
So what you do is, you do file. Well, let me do it on here where everybody can see.
Okay.
All right, so what I'm gonna do, I think I got visual on here. So I'm gonna minimize this. I'm gonna bring up Visual Studio. I think it's on here. All right, look, I'm gonna bring up Visual Studio. All right, I'm gonna create a little small program that maybe say hello world or whatever. But I'm gonna show you that just creating it and saving it and then trying to open it won't work. All right, so now, the thing is, you have to follow the right process for what? Creating a file, correct? So let's go through that. All right, so now we wanna create using the Windows desktop. What's going on? All right. All right, so now I want desktop application. Okay, I'm gonna give it the name. What name you wanna give it? So we'll know. Give me a name. I'll say what? All right, that's the project name, correct? Creating the project. Now, here it's gonna ask you a question, and once this finishes, it's gonna ask if you want to open up an empty well, it's gonna have those different options for empty project or whatnot. Huh? Did it come up? Did I do it right? I think I did it wrong. All right, I did it wrong. So let me close this up, because this is not supposed to be closed solution. Close that up. So, let's get started. Let's say new, C++. We want desktop, okay? We want to make sure this is Windows desktop. Then we do the desktop wizard. I can't do what again, I'll say what, 2. All right, so now, I'll click OK. Now look, it's asking me if I want to create an empty project, meaning no type of header files, no type of other information or anything. It's just going to be done from scratch. So I'll click empty project and click OK. Now what's going to happen? The project will be created. What's the name of the project? What 2, right? Now I right click on source. Now, Mr. Gaddis, if I wanted to use the file that I've already had in this new project, I would do an add, and then I would do existing item.
Okay.
That's how you would pull it in. You can't just double click on it. You double click on it, it's just an independent C++ file that you can't execute because it's not with the project. Okay, right? So I'm gonna do new project. Our new CPP, make sure it's CPP, source.cpp, add. Alright? So now when I type, I'm gonna do okay. Alright, so now we'll do cout. Alright. Okay, so that's all this program is doing, right? So if I run it, okay, first I need to build it. Control F7, which compiles it at least. Alright. And I shouldn't have any errors. One succeeded. So that means no error. Now, run it. Control F5, debug, right? Without debugging. And here we go. Bam, this is a test, correct? Now, what I'll close this out, and I'll even close this out. I'll do file, and I'll just say exit this. Now, if I go to my folder, and here, I think it's documents, here we have Visual Studio, right? And I have to go, where is my pictures under users? Pictures under users. Source. All right, so here, what's 2, right? That's my folder. Double click. This is the SLN. That program, if you copy it, normally has all of the different links to whatever modules you have or programs you have in that file. So if I double click on what 2, here is my source, source.cpp, remember? But I cannot just double click on this and say, oh, want it to run. Can I do that? I have to open up a project and then do the existing or do copy and paste the contents into it. Everybody got that? Now, what I could do though, I could take the contents and say, get out of this. I could take this content, it's going into Dev C++.
Can you reopen the time a little bit?
Huh?
The assignment? Because I just fixed it.
I
didn't understand. I thought I was supposed to look at the sample output, so.
No, well, the sample, like I said, it's based on the way the margins is with Canvas. Yeah, you can't really say double, triple.
I was trying to make sure.
No, look at, what's that single quote? What's that single quote right here? Right here. What's that? Or that's not a, oh, no, that's just saying that. What you, Maine, where's Maine? Where you Maine? Go to your Maine. Okay.
I'm not.
Okay. We'll go back to Maine. Okay, Maine. You got Florida.
You didn't? Yeah, I didn't change that part.
It said expected primary expression before semicolon total.
Right.
Look at this, mine without. Okay, you don't have nothing. What you streaming after that?
Oh,
Right,
right.
right.
I thought it was like quotations for that.
No, but if you can stream a new line, you understand?
Okay.
Right.
So,
In line or just take the stream off.
okay.
You got-
I know that guy. I just asked. What if people submitted?
Oh, that what he asked. But just have a seat. We're gonna look at it.
Okay, I just.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about it.
Yeah.
All right. So now, what this thing do? All right. Wow. Okay. So this is the program, right? Now I could copy this. Look, I could copy this information, copy it. Now I could go back to Visual Studio. Right, Mr.
Yep.
Janice, and I can create a new project, but I can't just double click. If I saved it on the desktop or if I have it on the jump drive, I cannot just double click. And I'll just call it project 2, like this, and then empty, right? Okay, right click, add, new item, and then I'll do the C++, and then all I need to do is what? Right click and paste, and bam. Now I should be able to what? Execute it like before, right? Right, Miss, I'm gonna say Singleton, what is it? Sterling, right. So here, so when I run it, I'll go here, Control F5, same output. Right? Same output. So now, what else I can do, I can actually remove this, right? And then I could go to source, right click on source, add, and I can say existing item and look for that particular file. All right, and this is it here. Not here. Well, this is the one, but I don't want this one. I'm gonna go and get the other one. I'll go into what two, get the source, add it, and now I have the source. You understand? I did an add, add existing. But you cannot just double click on it. All right. Visual Studio is built to where you got to create that project. All right. That environment, you got to create that project. All right, any other questions about that? Now, let's look at the assignments real quick, okay? Well, let me minimize this. We might have to come back in. I'll close this up. Minimize this. So let me log into Canvas. And we'll look to see what the instructions say. I think that's it. All right, so here, let's look at the instructions for 192. And I think I gave you 3 or 4 assignments. So let's look at modules. Here we go. Now, everybody saw the job opportunities, right? I posted some more research, Okay, here. So let's look at this program. Where is it? Oh, this. Okay, here we go. All right, this module program, right? When you click on this, it told you to take this file, all right? This is the file, right? Take that, you could copy that and paste it in the online GDB.
Yeah, you can, yeah, cause he just made it one line. Yep, so that didn't work. So
Well,
just
this-
download CPP.
All right, you know what? I'm gonna show you a trick, all right?
Okay.
This is a trick, and like I said, I was searching. Open up Microsoft Word, right? You open up Microsoft Word. Why? Hey, I found it to work, and it worked for me.
Yeah, I did that with
And I think it put return marks at the end. That's the only reason why. All right, so I open up Microsoft Word. I'll grab this, right? Right click, copy. Right click. Oh well, and paste. Right? Now, then it pasted it off. But still, watch. I could highlight it, right click. Well, I can right click. But it should have kept it in the same form. But I'll tell you what, let's see if I can paste it.
You should be able to just paste it right into the program.
I know. For whatever reason, it's still.
What I did was I just opened it up in the thing, because I have visual, and I just copy and paste that.
Right. Now you copy it. Now watch. When I paste it in online GDP, I'll say visual. I left visual open. Right click, paste. Why? I don't know. But it put I can think the return marks on the end. Right? So you can do it that way and then tab it over. Oh no, I think there's even in online GDP, there's a feature where you can realign, right? And then you hit it. Huh? Right. Why? Let me show you. Online GDP. I know it should be in here, but I don't know exactly where it is. But watch. On online GDP, if I paste this in here, let me choose the language. What's that? All right. Control N, Control V. All right. So now it's pasted, right? And then I can go here and beautify. That's what it's called. Bam. And it kind of like put everything, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. But I'm saying you can do that. Yes, ma'am.
Can we fill it out together?
Together.
Yeah, since you have it open.
So I can grade whatever I have already, and we go through it together.
Yeah, cause if I do that copy and paste trick.
Right, that would have been so helpful.
Oh, you saying you want that part? Not giving you the.
Finish typing everything in right when
Right.
Oh yeah, and what happens is you make errors.
Well, I mean, I would still take the time and try to, but it
Right.
just was more time consuming than just.
Right.
Even when you click the down.
But y'all understand the trick now.
Yeah, totally.
Like I say, take Word. And y'all, how many of y'all took advantage of downloading the free version of Office 365? I gave y'all that link in the
I
announcement.
do have Word, but I didn't know about this copy and paste trick.
Okay, all right. Okay, but yeah, I over time just experimenting, I'll come across that. Okay, so now, giving you this program, what did I tell you to do in the name function? Print what?
Day, course, and semester.
All right, so you don't touch anything here. All this is set up for you. All right, all this is set up already. You don't have to worry about this. I was showing you how a function is created in a program, but then I just wanted you to add the definition of that function. That's all you had to do. So all you had to do is go down to the name function and do what? See out your name, see out your major, see out the semester. That's it. Yes, sir.
Do the modules have to be named with all caps?
No, they don't have. Well, I gave you this file though.
Yeah, I
That's-
was just asking.
No. But they need to match.
Okay.
Just like a variable name. Cause see, a module is a user identifier. Like say a variable name.
Yeah.
You create those variables, right? You create these module names. So however you create them, first letter capitalized, camel hump,
I'm gonna use like verbs. And it's like,
right? But you create them. Yeah, it don't have to be all caps. I just did it to kind of separate things in the program. All right. So now, in the second function, I told you to do what? Write the code that does what?
average test.
All right, average 3 test scores, right? So what you gonna have? What? Int T1, T2, 3. And did I tell you to input them or just give it assigned value?
You assign the value.
Right. So T1 equal whatever, comma T2 equal whatever, comma T3 equal whatever.
And
Then what? And total, right? And then what? Total is equal to
95.
no, whatever plus whatever plus whatever,
Yeah.
all divided by whatever. Then what? See out total or average, whatever, right?
I was just saying that was the answer.
Oh, yeah, but I'm just saying you gotta write that
Yeah.
code to write out. And then in the last one, in footer, what I told you to do? See out what? Program has successfully completed.
All tabs or something like that.
Huh?
They complete all the
Completed all tasks, right? Miss Jane, what you got?
So with the average one, we had to give like the formula, right?
Right, you're gonna have the numbers initialized, and then you're gonna have a formula to calculate the average, and then you're gonna write out the average.
Yeah, so if I said like average equals then the numbers that I put in. divided
No. I want you to start writing code dealing with variables. Not say average is equal to 90 plus whatever, 80 plus 70, all divided by 3. I gave you those numbers, but I want you to assign those numbers to a variable, and then when you write your expression, it's gonna be average is equal to T1 plus T2 plus T3, or test 1 plus test 2 plus test 3. You got me? Not the actual number.
Okay, so it's not gonna give us a number.
Yeah, you're gonna get an average,
Oh,
but you're using variables. You got what I'm saying? You're using variables. Because in writing code, that's the key. Yes, sir.
So in the one that I submitted, I had read over per se. I kind of skipped the part where you gave us the values. I made it to where the user inputs the value. Is that okay, or is that?
It's okay. I didn't. Normally, if I don't specify, I gave you the numbers. Normally, I want you to use those numbers. You understand what I'm saying? And when I specify, allow the user to input, I want it. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reopen it and give y'all till tonight to complete it. So everybody should have what? A perfect program. Hello? Huh?
Yep.
That's it. I think the only problem with mine right now is the colon and L.
Yeah. Miss, yes? Hello? All right. Mr. What's your name, man? You right. Everybody should have a perfect program tonight, right?
I'm gonna try my best. I might have a perfect-ish program.
Yes,
Boy.
ma'am.
Cause y'all know that it's harder to grade
Adding it to the.
it's harder to grade a program that has all kind of errors and problems
Right, I mean.
than it's one that somebody followed the okay, they did this, they did that, boom.
The only problem with mine is I tried putting the endos in, but you can't, like, try putting endos for one code, but it can't.
It's going right out.
I know, but then it can't.
But you got a string.
But hang on.
No, and your semicolon go at the end of your line. Come on, man.
I know, but I tried that and
Just remove that.
it wouldn't work either way.
Now you got a string,
Like this.
right?
Yeah.
Well, you always got a string.
But I thought you said.
No, you need the NL. Now you need NL. You had the string, but you didn't have nothing to string, right? Right? Right.
I honestly think
Right.
I honestly think I'd be better off doing like this game stuff,
Oh, yeah.
specific. Like everyone says it'd be better to get like general programming, but I don't really do that.
But you understand what I'm saying? But that's what you need. That NL. If you're gonna stream something, because otherwise, if you wouldn't put in there, everything would be all on the same line. Right? Alright. But I'm gonna open it up for tonight, alright?
See that my record.
Oh.
That's what I got.
Right?
And I'm saying the score is like 4 million something.
Wow, so you need to check your logic.
Right, the score thing is like input or do we just?
No, I gave you the input. I gave you 3 test scores, I think.
Okay, I'm just,
You got to look at your, the
when
assignment.
it said like, input test scores, telling me like, put in these.
No, you didn't have to make up anything.
No, I meant like put in these.
Yes.
Question, doesn't matter if I use float instead of float.
What did my instructions say? If it didn't specify, so if it didn't specify, you can, that. But when it's specified, even when you're on the job, if they specify whatever, try to stick close to that as possible. Because you're doing float and you're getting a certain value, and the company wanted just the end, whatever, it can cause, alterations or whatever later
It's
on.
just I wasn't sure because the directions, mistakes.
Right, if it's not just it goes, and then if I don't say, input 3 numbers, if I say, given 3 numbers, whatever, you can do input, you can do whatever. But sometimes I'll say input, allow the user to input, then that, where you're gonna actually see it, whatever. Alright, so now, class,
What was it, the divide symbol?
the who?
What was it, the average is everything divided up by? What was the symbol for the division?
Slash.
I
Just
tried
the red
that,
forward slash.
I tried that, but it gave me like 216.
Right, but what, Miss Jane, what's the formula to find the average of several numbers? Say 5 numbers.
That would be average, then number plus
Average equal what?
the numbers, like added together and then.
You heard what she said? Added what?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Numbers added what?
Add it together and then divide it by.
Uh-huh.
That's what I'm doing. See?
I don't know what you're doing. What are your numbers?
Here.
Check it out. Hey, well, go back to your seat. Miss Jane, repeat that again. Listen to what she's saying.
I know what he's saying.
No, what? But you need to do it. Repeat what you're saying.
Average equals then the numbers, like added plus together, and then divided by 5.
Yeah,
She said add it together.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
No, you're not.
Oh, wait.
Class, what's the precedence?
No, wait.
What's the order of precedence?
I see it now.
Oh, okay, all right.
Points, honestly.
You have to do what before you do what? Multiply and divide modulus before you add, subtract, unless you what? You group it, correct? All right, now,
So like this?
go figure it out. We done gave you most of it. All right, class, now, so back to the notes. Let's go to the notes.
You opened it up?
Huh?
You opened up the second?
I'm opening it up after class, cause y'all will be working on it. Huh?
You're all about class?
After class, so you're gonna have from after class till 11:59 tonight.
Can you just help me figure out, I went above the Call of Duty, like, for all of them, like.
For all the modules.
Yeah. I made it to where you can input it for everything.
No. Just see out. All that program was to do was to allow you to see that whatever I put in this function, whatever I put in this function, whatever I put in this function, I could call those functions from the main and get the result.
Yeah.
You see, that's all that assignment was.
I really need you to open it, but hey, I learned something new today.
What?
Trying to assign like words and stuff to a variable, it's not, you can't just use char or comma.
No, you can if you use an array.
The bracket.
Right, the array.
Yeah.
But otherwise, you'd have to use
String.
Yeah. And you'd have to use the what?
Includes.
That's what I
That
asked you
header
last week, I didn't know how to figure that out.
We talked about that.
I know, but I'm saying like,
It
gets complicated with y'all those
Right, but as you program, you get
Yeah,
your.
we haven't done a whole lot of that.
Because even when you get to Java, you got to pull in certain modules to do certain things. It's just knowing the application.
Honestly, I should get bonus points.
You should.
Yeah.
I should be a millionaire, but
Yeah.
I open up my paycheck and like, what up? Oh boy. All right, so let's look at our notes. All right, so we in chapter 3. What are we? And we pretty much got to the end of it where we talked about modules and we talked about passing variables. Yeah. Wait a minute. We talked about hierarchy charts, right?
Yeah, I'm talking about.
Now, let me ask you this. Miss, what's your name? Sue? Yeah, you gonna say yeah, all right. Come to the board. We gonna work with you though. What I want you to do, we're gonna use the marker, we're gonna write over here. Given the assignment that we just had, and I'll just post this here, all right? I'll just open this up here. Looking at this program, all right? Come on up to the board. Use that marker, all right? All right, so now, given this program, let's write the hierarchy chart for that program. So we start out with what? Main, right? Because everything starts from the main, right? So put the module, the box, the rectangle for main. Oh, you can let me see it. Got it? I had another black. We're not doing the flow chart. We're doing the hierarchy chart. Remember, the hierarchy chart shows the relationship, right? Shows the relationship of the different calls, correct? So we got main. Now, let's look at the program. Look at the top at main. What we got? What is that?
Average.
All right. Oh, well,
Main,
what we got in main at? Pound include. Oh, here. Right. What is that? Yeah. So here, int main. So what's being called from the main? Name. Okay. So now what we can do, we could go to name, right? Let's go to name. Where's name? Here. What's being called from name?
Your name.
No. I'm talking about other functions. We just doing the hierarchy chart. So we're dealing just with functions. So what is name calling? Is it calling any function? No. So let's go back up. We return back to what? Here. Now it does what? Call average. From where? From where? Right. That's good. That's okay, but let's try it like this. Right? All right. So going on, we calling what? We calling average, correct? Now, okay, we calling average. So let's go to average. In average, what functions are we calling? None, right? So we're not calling any function, so it returns back to the main. After average, it does what? It calls what? Footer, right? So you read that line? Go ahead. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you read that, and then footer. So, and then under footer, what functions are we calling from footer? None. And we return back to the main, and what? We end the program. So this would be the hierarchy chart for that program. All the functions are being called from where? The main. Now you might say, well, average is before name. It doesn't matter. It's the relationship. That's all it deals with. The hierarchy chart only deals with the relationship, not the order.
You can change it though. You can say call average and call name and call.
Right, and your hierarchy chart will be the same.
Yeah.
Wait. Say that again now. You saying we could change
If
the-
if you switch the call.
Right, you're right, and our hierarchy chart would say the same. But if we took the average call and put it in name, then that would change our hierarchy chart. All right, everybody understand what's happening? All right, that chart is just a model showing the relationship of the calls. That's all it's doing.
But you can put a module into another module?
Right, that's what we did in the example.
Oh, yeah.
Right, remember the example last class period? Where we call A call B. Well, main call A call B, and B call C. And then we have to return back to B, return back to A, and then return back to main. Right? So a module can, any module can call any module, right? So it's no problem. Right? All right. Thank you, ma'am. All right. So that's the hierarchy chart for this. And everybody know how to use Word to do that, right? To create a hierarchy chart. So if I give you an assignment where I have just some dummy calls, right? And some dummy functions and some calls within those functions, y'all should be able to give me or produce an hierarchy chart. Okay. All right. Okay. So we went over the hierarchy chart. And then what? We looked at how the program is actually flow charted. Mr. What's your name again? Last name? No, don't look back.
Tucker.
Mr. Tucker. Remember Mr. Tucker had asked about the flow charts. How will we flow chart the function? So the main function, you have the start terminal, right? And then you have the end terminal. But then when you have these functions like start message, step 1, step 2, step 3, and step 4, they would have start message as the start, and then return at the end. But everything in here is what start message is performing. Step 1, start terminal. Step 1, end it with the return, and everything that's defined within it, right? And so on and so forth. So that's how you would have to flowchart each module separately. Everybody got that? But when you're doing the call in here, you use this symbol here, and with the square with the lines on the two sides to show that it is a function that's being called, right? All right. All right. So now we talked about local variables and global variables, right? So let's look at that again. And what I'll do, I'll go to online GDB again and show you. Because remember we went through it in what? Variable was not recognized when we made them local, all right? So let's open online GDB. If I can get to, all right, here we go. All right, we go to online GDB and I'll keep that, but I'll delete all this. Well, I could, yeah, I'll check out this stuff. All right. All right, if I do int main. All right, and if I had variables that were local, if I had int x equals 2, y equals 6, z equals 10, and so on. All right, so if I had this here, but then I call the function, what this void represents, class, what it says, what that signifies? That I'm not doing what though? No, I'm not returning any values, right, from that function, all right? So here I'll do add, I'm gonna call add, but then when I go to add, I'll go to add and say, okay, void add, and if I try to do something like total is equal to x plus y plus z, what's gonna happen, class? Huh? What's gonna happen? What's gonna happen?
Get an error,
I will get an error, why?
You haven't,
because they don't know what it.
They don't know.
Right,
Right.
remember the scope? The scope of X, Y, Z and total is in what?
Main.
The main. Outside of the main, the program does not know what those variables are, right? All I need to do is simply do this. Well, if I wanted this to work, and I've just made those variables what? Huh?
Global.
Global, they're outside the main now. Now any function can use them at any time, all right? So if I run it now, got my answer. But if I go back and put this back inside here and make them local only to the main, all right? When I run it, probably get all type of errors. See here? All these variables are what? Not declared, all right? So now, let's look at it. How can we make this program work given this?
make them a reference variable.
Huh?
Turn them into reference variables.
We can do reference. Now reference you use the ampersand. But we can pass the value, okay? But we can pass the reference too, which would be the address. But that's like another class, like say the 194 class. But what we need to do here, how many variables we want to pass? How many?
Oh, 4.
4. What's the data type?
Int.
So I'll do int. So this saying, when I call add, I'm gonna pass what? 4 int values, right? Now, in add, do I put int in here? No, because the variables are already known in this function, correct? The integer values are already known. They're in that scope. So all we need to do is list the variables in the order that we want. Remember I said what? If we swap the order,
Could be different.
it could be different if the order is changed in the actual call down here, right? So we have to make sure that they're gonna match when we actually go to the call function, right? So I could say X, Y, Z, total, right? So int X, int Y, int Z, int total. So those are the 4 integer values that will be passed. Now, when I get here though, what do I need to do? It doesn't know none of the variables, so we need to do what?
So what kind of variable?
So we need to declare those variables, right? So when we pass X, now we need to say what? What data type X is? Int, and we could give it the same variable name or we could give it a different one. But if we change the variable name here, we'd have to change the representation here, right? Because I'm declaring X to be a part of this add function, local to that function, so I can use X now, right? So now I need to do the same thing for what?
Int Y.
Y, Z, right. So, now what? All of those variables that's from the main have been passed to what? To the add function, and now I can solve my expression by what? Taking values that was in the main, passing them to the add function, and doing some calculation.
So
And I won't get an error.
Does it return back to the main?
It returns back, but it's not returning a value.
Right.
It has to return back to complete the what? Execution. You got it? Because it could be another function I'm trying to call or another statement I'm trying to execute. Right? So when I run this, all right, then we get the same results. See what I'm saying?
And you're really gonna use this when you make mistakes, right? You're trying to fix errors, right?
Use what?
The passing. The variable.
No. See, remember I told you one of the class periods, passing variables make your program tighter in a sense that if I'm passing something, I know I'm passing that value. And then when I pass that value, I can use it and do whatever. Rather than make it global, and then I done added something to it one place or whatever and don't know where I made the change, and now my whole program's gone haywire. This controls what you can do,
In
where
that
you can
scope,
do it.
in that specific area.
That's right, that's right, correct. Because if I'm gonna pass 3, if X is 3, I'm passing 3. And I know that's 3. If I go anywhere else in the program, I come back here, it's gonna pass 3 from the main. You got me? Right. Now, like I said though, this does not have to be X. That could be A, B, C, and some, right? Because that's a new scope. But in the main, we pass X, Y, Z, and total. But if I do that, now I need to do what? Say what? Sum is equal to what? A
B
plus B
plus C
plus C, right? And then we're gonna output what?
for total, for sum.
Sum. You understand what I'm saying? So we use a different variable because what? We declared a different variable, right? We passed what? X was equal to 3. We passed X. We passed 3 into what? A. Y is 6. We pass Y. B is 6. We pass, and the only reason is because they in that what? Order.
Right.
If I take something and put at the beginning, I've thrown everything out of order. Yes, sir.
Wouldn't reference variables just be easier?
Reference variables is what make your program run faster because you're running at a lower level.
Yeah.
Right. Correct.
Okay.
And normally, when you do pass by reference, and I don't think we're dealing with that in this chapter, because I think it's in the 194 class. What you do is, you would do ampersand.
Yeah.
Ampersand. So you're not passing the value, you passing the address. Remember I told you when you create a variable, it allocates space. Well, let me put this down. It allocates space at a particular location or address. So really it's just referencing the address, and which makes your program run faster. It doesn't have to say, oh, let me go to that address, oh, get that value, do whatever. Yes. What's your?
I was gonna say like, so like.
But then I have to go down here.
Passing, so when you're referencing, does that not mess with the value that's assigned?
No, it doesn't mess with the value.
And that's why you would choose passing over referencing?
Right.
Gotcha. Okay.
Right. Because you're working at a lower level. Right. Almost that low machine level language, yes.
So basically you're saying, you're saying whatever's declared in the main has to be declared in the function below. And the way
Not all of them, no, it depends on what you want to do.
Right, well I'm saying in this situation, you're passing it to the function.
Right, and the function is processing what I want.
Right.
Rather than have one.
You want to do more local variables rather than just one global variable.
That's right, cause take this. You have a program that's 1,000 lines of code.
Right.
And somewhere in your program you put X++. Just anywhere. It could affect the execution of the program and you not know where and what you did. But when you do it within that, it's like this is what I'm doing in this section.
Right.
When I pass it, I know I'm passing that value. So you can correct yourself a whole lot better than just having something global and whatever. And this is just a worldly thing. If somebody was say like you had a most wanted person, and they had opportunity to be anywhere in the world, as opposed to a person that can only be confined to Louisiana, you have a much likelier chance of finding that person. So that's the kind of same thing, and it's not nothing real, but they're kind of the same thing. All right. So when I do that, then all of a sudden I'm passing by reference. And now what happens, I can run the program and get the answer.
So what's the and do right there?
That's the reference. It's referencing an address.
Oh, okay.
It's actually pulling the address. And so when it goes here, it knows what value is already at that address. All right? So it's working at a low level language, rather than having to say, okay, X, what is X? Oh, where's the address? Oh, this is the address, and get the value, do whatever. Right. Right? But like I say, same difference, right? Now, when we get to 194 and you start dealing with vectors, you have to pass by reference, right? And when you look at arrays are memory addresses, and we're gonna see how you can manipulate an array, adding or subtracting, the subscript position and whatnot. All right, dealing with addresses. All right, because looking at this program, if I do something, this is not part of your class. If I do something like int, actually PTR, all right? Now, what I've just done, I've created a pointer, all right? A pointer can only hold an address, cannot hold a value, only an address. So when I do this, I can do PRT is equal to ampersand X. You understand? So now I've made PRT point to the X location. And now I can I can reference the value at X by using
So it isn't a value after that.
it can get the value. Yeah. But it's a pointer as address.
So that's basically passing a value.
The address.
Just the address?
The address.
But couldn't you manipulate what?
In that, yeah. I can print the value at that address, yes. I can do some calculations.
The whole program with just PRT.
With pointers?
Yeah.
Yes. Because that's what the ampersands are.
Okay.
Because the ampersand, but you're still gonna have to have variables. You understand? You're gonna have to declare your variables and then point. The pointer points to make the ampersand X, send it to a pointer. Ampersand Y, you can send it to another pointer. Or you can send them all to the same pointer, but at different times. You understand what I'm saying? Because when I send something to a pointer, it's at that address. And if I go down here and say PRT is equal to ampersand Y, I've just replaced the address of PRT from X to Y, and now it only knows what Y is. You got what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So at certain times I can use it to reference whatever, right? Because if I do this, all right, if I can remember right, if I go in here and I'll say cout and I'll say ampersand X. I'll do that right. String. And X. All right, so watch what happens. Oh no, I didn't do it. It's gonna give me the same value twice. Wait, PRT, what happened here? Oh, it's not declared in the scope. It is. PRT and PRT. Oh, PTR. I had a wrong variable. All right, if I print out ampersand X and then X, watch. Look, ampersand X is this address. That's an address. That's not a number per se of value. That's an address. But what? X is that. You understand? And I could print out the pointer value too, But I'm saying that's when you get deep in the programming and low-level language. So we done looked at
I
that.
feel like this can all get real confusing real fast.
Not when you grow into with programming,
Right.
because you'll learn it and and that's one reason I tell you, whatever you learn, retain, because if you don't, it's gonna make it that much harder when you go to that next class.
It's almost like math, though. You gotta keep doing it. Practice.
Right, and I tell a lot of students who like, oh, man, I'm gonna get somebody to do it for me, or I'm gonna let it. You're falling into a trap, because if you get by this class, you get to the next class, a little harder. Then you get to the next, a little more harder, and then you'll be like, man, I got confused. Because what? You didn't put in the groundwork to understand how to. You got somebody to do it for you. It's best to.
But how do you find like practice programs that you could just?
Well, my thing is that you just take programs and you practice. Once you see some type of feature, you work with it. Well, what if I do this? Or what if I wanted to do this? Have these scenarios in your mind. What if I want to do it? Well, I wanted to take this address and do whatever. Put it in your mind and then try to code it. Because just to say, okay, well, I don't know, I'm in the class or whatever, you're gonna learn just that much. That's gonna be your level. But you need to try to go home sometime and just say, man, Sylvester did this, let me go ahead on, let me see if I do X, Y, Z, what would happen. Oh, let me look it up.
Works for me.
Huh?
Misreading homework works for me.
Miss what?
Misreading.
Oh yeah, reading it too fast. Let me hurry up and get it done. Yeah, but that's pointless. But like I said, that ain't got nothing to do with this class, but just to enlighten you. All right, but like I said, we talked about mods, the scope, local variables, whatever, we talked about that. All right, the duplicate variables, as long as they're what? Not in the same scope, you're cool, right? You cannot declare a variable twice in the same scope. Cannot do it, right? All right, passing arguments. That's what we just did, right? We passed those values, those arguments, right? Now, we also pass by reference. We pass by the value. Now, I'm gonna show you another thing. But this is pretty much the dinosaur way of coding, all right? If I did this, all right, I took this out. Okay, well, I need total. I do int total, right? And nothing, it's not wrong to do. I'm gonna take this out. I'll take this out. Where's total? Okay, I had total. Oh, it's some. All right. Oh no, I take this out because okay. Now, so if I did this, now total is what? The only variable I have, right? But I'm still saying I'm passing what? When I need to take this out. Because what? I don't have a variable for this one, right? And I could leave that one in because I do have a variable for that one, correct? But watch, I could say this. I want to pass 3, 8, 10, right? I'm passing the actual value. You got me? It's not a variable. It's not a reference to the address. It's the actual variable. Now, you could do that, but your program wouldn't be what? Versatile, correct? Every time you call that function, you're passing 3, 8, and 10. But if it was a variable, you could be passing what? Different values at different times. But this will work, all right? It's gonna pay, and I have to take this off to make that just int. Because what? It's not no variable, so there's no reference. But we know that that would be a reference, right? All right? Now, I wouldn't do A, B, and C, right? Oh yeah, I would have to give a variable name. Here, right? I'll do A, I'll just go back to B and C. Because what? That's a new scope. So I'm taking number 3, passing it to what? A. Taking the number 8, passing it to what? B. Taking the number 10, passing it to what? C. You got me? So, but every time I call that function, it's gonna pass those exact values. All right? So when I run it, it's gonna run and give me the right answer. All right? But when you got variables, those variables can change in value, correct? Because I can have it in a loop and doing some things or whatever. Okay? So, like I said, you can pass that concrete value, you can pass a variable, or you can pass that address. Huh? That's gonna be the next chapter. Okay, a loop. If I told you I had a loop. One example, if if you had a file, okay, you had, worked with Excel, right? With column of data or whatever. If I wanted you to find or print out every record that had, the zip code 70816. So it's like, I gotta check the first one, this, if it is, print, else continue. If it is, print, else continue. So what I'm doing, I'm actually weeding out everything and getting just the ones I want. So that's why you would use loop to process data, which that's what they do. Many times you online and say, well, I'm on my banking statement, I wanna see everything between this date and this date. That's a loop. Check all the transactions, all the ones that meet this criteria, display. Right? A loop does it. Right? It's not just say, oh, this to that, boom. No,
Correct.
it's a loop. All right. So that's one reason. All right. Another reason you can say, well, I wanna input 10 names or 10 numbers.
Right.
All right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
No, but I don't want to do it that. I want to use a loop. Because if I do it that way,
No, that's what I'm saying, is they keep going until.
till it gets reached the
Until
right,
it's
the
done,
limitation, correct. But one process, well, how would I say it? It's something like this. This is an example. All right, I'll take this out. This would be an example. This is an example of a loop. For int x equals 0, x less than 10, x plus plus. And what do I want to do? While x is less than 10, why is this? See out. Alright? So, if I run this, what did it do?
Huh.
You understand what I'm saying? Starting at 0. You understand? So that's
Yeah,
what
because when I did the solar, it does the numbers, but I didn't think you could. That's pretty cool, yeah.
you can do whatever you want within that process, rather than me trying to do CRBLC, 10 different times.
Huh.
Right?
Yeah.
Alright. So that's loops. Alright. Back to the numbers. Alright, passing by arguments. We did that. Alright, did the number. Alright. Arguments, okay, alright. We talked about that, the value, actual value. Alright. We talked about the scope, remember? Scope of the variable. Passing multiple variables. We did that from jump. Multiple variables. Or multiple arguments. Alright? And then you gotta have the list, remember, in the proper order, or it can cause issues depending on what those numbers represent. Okay? This is just on assignment. Passing arguments about values, we did that. Values and reference, alright? Reference with that ampersand. You're passing the actual address, which makes the program run faster, alright? Because you're working at a lower level, alright? Now look at this. Display X, set whatever. Display Y, display Z. Alright, we could add a loop to read them in and print them out. You understand? But like I said, we're not there yet. Okay? We should be close to the end. So okay, checkpoint. Alright, we talked about global variables, right? Global variables can be used where? Anywhere in the program, right? Any function can use them, whatnot. Alright, local variable. Alright, a global constant, alright? What that does, once that constant is defined, you cannot what? Cannot change it. Cannot. I don't care where or what in the program, it cannot be assigned any type value. Even the same value that it actually is, you cannot change it. Because that's what a violation comes in at. When you're trying to override it, that's what a violation comes. You saying it's constant, it can't be changed. But then in your program, you saying this is equal to, wrong, can't equal to anything but what it was already assigned to. Alright? Alright, here we go, some other checkpoints. So we at the end. So next class period, we're gonna have an exam, okay? I want y'all to study, right? Right, everybody? So, I'm gonna put, how much time I got? I got a little time, right?
Like 5 minutes.
Alright. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna post that I'm gonna post that assignment again. I'm gonna probably post a program where you got to create the hierarchy chart, right? And what? I'm not gonna give you a program passing that. I just want you to understand that program that we had and how those functions are being called in the information that's being executed. All right. So here we get next class period. We're gonna start with decisions. All right, a structure with decisions. Now, what's a decision? Many times, well, you make decisions every day. Sometimes we make them unconscious. You know, we're not even conscious of them. And normally it's like an if. Okay. If it's cold outside, I'm gonna wear a jacket. If it's raining, I'm gonna get my umbrella. You understand what I'm saying? If it's hot outside, I may not go to, I may not exercise at the park. You know, whatever it might be. So we make those decisions every time. If Mrs. Sylvester will give a test today, I'm gonna be in right? So we make those decisions. Now, in computer science though, and when you're learning how to code, a lot of times those decisions we get you the right code in is dealing with numbers, number ranges, etc. But it can be dealing with anything, all right? Because some of the relational operators is not equal to, which is the exclamation point equal to, which is the double equal, less than, right? Less than symbol points to the left, greater than points to the right. Then we have less than or equal to, and then we have greater than or equal to. So you have a less than symbol, and then the equal, and then you have greater than, and then the symbol. All right? So those are some of the logical operators. And what happens is we have if statements where we might say if x is greater than 10, do whatever. Or like we did with that first program you had. If average, we had 3 test scores. If average was greater than 95, give them a pat on the back, right? But you can have compounded if statements, all right? If x is greater than 10 and x is less than 20, all of a sudden I'm dealing with what range? Everything between what? 10 and 20. Would 10 be included?
Yeah.
No.
Oh wait, no.
Right? And would 20 be included?
No.
No. So you got to understand those math
You
operations.
said less than or equal to, right?
I just said greater than 10 and less than 20.
I'm just saying if you put
Right. But see, all those things gonna come into factor when you start coding. Because I could have said greater than or equal to 11 and less than or equal to 19.
right.
You understand? So things like that you're gonna have to kind of pick up on and kind of understand. And what everybody might not code the same. Where some may use whatever. Now it may depend though how you use it, because if somebody use greater than or equal to 10, and I mean greater than 10, and somebody say greater than or equal to 11, if it's float, what happens? We might lose what? 10.3, 10.4, 10, whatever. You got me all the way up to 11. So you got to be aware of that. Now, if you're dealing with integer, then you're fine. You got what I'm saying? So, things like that. Well, greater than 10 would be 10.5.
Yeah.
But then if you do greater than or equal to 11, you just lost the 10 point whatever. So yeah, stuff like that you gotta keep aware. All right? So what I'll do, I'm gonna post the assignment again, setting that time, and then I'll be posting that program so you can go through it and do the hierarchy chart. And just kind of follow like we did on the board. Remember the levels though, right? Try to keep them on the same level. All right, whatever's being called from the main should be on the same level. whatever being called from, whatever function should be on the same level, you understand? So make sure you keep them on the same level. So let me go to here and, modules program, and I'll just change the date.
Wait,
I mean-
so we need to resend it to.
Right, resend it. I want you to get it right.
I
Alright,
mean,
yours is right?
I think so.
Go over it and whatever, and like I say, make sure you get it to me. I'm gonna change the date, not the date, but we're really the time.
Time to what, tonight?
Yeah, 11:59. Yes, sir.
Do you have it? Like a few weeks ago, I spelled it to you on my keyboard and played notes out of the keyboard. It's like, do you know how to clean that without having to take it all apart?
Yeah, what you can do, but I wouldn't douse it. Spray it with lightly with some alcohol, and then wipe it off. Spray it, and you may want to turn it upside down.
Like spray it under the key?
Just spray the keys. That's it. Leave it down. Spray the keys and press on them and let it lubricate, and then turn it over and wipe it, and whatever's under it gonna drip back down. And little by little, they'll see, alcohol dries fast, but then you don't want that stuff that residue to travel, because it can, you turn your computer off, because the circuits can short.
Alright, so I gotta show my
Yeah.
car set.
Right. Put some alcohol, little alcohol. If you had a spray bottle, shoot it with alcohol and rub it.
Do you feel the difference? Like, do I press that one again? Well, it's like,
How fast are you going?
like it's mostly on
I
the
wish
left
you would
side.
find it.
But yeah, use that alcohol, lightly spray.
Okay, I'll see if I can do that.
Alright, yes, sir.
It was eight.
Also, is it under modules? That-
Yeah, modules, everything in the module.
Okay, I can't find its participation or weekend or something.
It should be modules. Go into modules and you'll see modules,
Like,
because we're dealing with modules.
I don't see
Oh, yeah.
the modules down here.
Yes, you do.
Your opportunities.
Look at that
I'm
now.
waiting for him to call, sorry.
I thought you meant like in module.
Right, but keep going. But go to assignment. Okay, right now, module.
Oh, okay, I thought you meant there was a tab.
No.